Richard Brodsky, the chairman of the Committee on Corporations, Authorities, and Commissions, has subpoenaed Seth Pinsky, who's the chairman of the NYCIDA board, and Randy Levine to his hearing tomorrow. He has jumped aboard on this issue of the Yankees getting more money, and he joins us now. How are you, Assemblyman? What's going on?
Good, Mike. Nice to be back with you.
All right. My pleasure. First, did you just hear Randy Levine?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I streamed you guys up in Albany.
All right. Now, how does he get to his numbers and you get to $4 billion to construct Yankee Stadium?
Well, that's because he asserts that this is about Yankee money when the facts are that this is about the public's money. The reason we know that is because we read the different documents that the Yankees and the city filed with the IRS. Their position has been fairly straightforward in terms of public debate, but when they had to file sworn documents, this is what they said. They said that it's city tax money that's paying for the stadium. Let me give you an analogy. It's like you built a house out in the country, and the local government came to you and said, okay, you now owe us $1,000 a year in property taxes. We're going to use it for schools, for the hospitals. And you said to the taxpayer, look, the tax collector, I'll pay you the $1,000 I owe you in taxes, but you have to send it to my bank to pay the mortgage. So it's their tax payments that
let me ask something.
That are going to pay the bondholders.
How is it the property taxes when they don't own the property?
Because that's what an IDA deal is. They transfer ownership of the property, and they collect, instead of what they call property taxes, they collect payments in lieu of taxes.
All right, well, then why was this deal ever approved if it's illegal?
Because it was done in back rooms, and it was done based on press releases, which said something different than we found when we looked at the actual documents.
So you're saying that the people who voted for this, including the entire city council, were fools?
Well, it was voted by the New York City IDA, and you've never heard of the 12 people who made that decision.
No, do I know anything about them. I agree, but but where do you get to if the Yankees borrowed or are trying to borrow in total $1.5 billion? How do you get to $4 billion?
Because in addition to the capital, the $1.4 billion, they have to pay interest over 30 years. That interest totals an additional $1.4 billion.
Well, that's just semantics.
Mike,
that's not fair. It's really we're talking about $1.4 to $5 billion, though. We're not talking about $4 billion.
But the bondholders get paid about $3 billion because they get paid not just the principal, but they get paid the interest.
Would you rather they didn't build a new Yankee Stadium?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Well, let me rephrase that. The answer is yes. I'm not sure.
You'd rather they didn't build a new Yankee Stadium?
Let me explain why, Mike. Because to some extent, the old Yankee Stadium is hallowed ground. I went there with my father. It means stuff to people. I don't know why they needed a new one, but you know what? That's not my decision.
Right. All right. But do you feel the way they finance the stadium is? Are you saying that the way they finance the stadium is illegal?
Yeah, probably in the end, yes. But more importantly, we're in an economic crisis. We can't afford schools. We can't afford the subway system. We're asking everybody to sacrifice. The Yankees are coming back for $430 million more for things like a jumbo scoreboard,
right,
for their administrative offices.
But is that money gonna? If they don't get that money, is that money coming out of the till that's going to for schools? No, it's not.
Yes, it would.
How is it?
If we didn't, because then we would be able to collect the taxes and use them for the things.
But wait a second. If the Yankees did, it's the chicken and the egg. If the Yankees didn't build the stadium, there would be no money to collect.
Mike, the stadium's already built.
Wait a second. The old stadium, what were they paying? What were they getting the money on?
First of all, let me be clear. The stadium's already built.
No. Wait a second. The Yankees are saying that if they didn't get this deal originally, they wouldn't have built the stadium. Okay. If they didn't build the stadium, it wasn't already built.
Then we'd be in the old stadium.
Right, and then what?
And then we would still have the ability to collect taxes. We would have the ability to not spend $4 billion that we need for other things. I'm not against the Yankees. Mike, hold on.
That makes no sense. That makes no. It's not $4 billion. If there was no stadium, there's no $4 billion.
I'll tell you what. I'll take your money, $2 billion. That's not my point. My point is that when you're asking the taxpayers to pay out the money, we at least ought to get an affordable stadium.
Let me ask you something. I understand the ticket. Now you're in a different issue, and I don't think an unfair one. But let me get to this. This is still America, and it's still free enterprise system. Here's the bottom line. The Yankees went to build a stadium, okay? They didn't build the stadium. There's nothing there. They're just the old stadium. Was the old stadium a better deal for the taxpayers than what they did now?
Depending on whether you like my numbers or your numbers, the taxpayers would have saved between $2 and $4 billion.
All right, explain to me. The Yankees don't build the stadium. Where's the $4 billion coming from?
Okay, what that money represents now, if they don't build a stadium, is money that the taxpayers would not have to spend.
The Yankees are not taking this. Taxpayers are not taking money out of somewhere and paying for the stadium. These are bonds that are being bought by people.
That's correct.
But those are investors. I'm buying those bonds. Or someone else is buying those bonds. Taxpayers aren't buying those bonds.
You're confusing the bondholders with the people who are paying the bondholders. The taxpayers are giving the bonds
only on the money from the new stadium. If there's no new stadium, there's no tax money.